bottled water.
That's probably going to be a little tough initially.
Well, yeah, now that they've got us hooked on it.
Yeah, we've all gotten used to that, haven't we?
I think we have. Sounds like the next few days, anything outdoors is going to be a little bit iffy.
I would say one of the S's, I'm going to talk a lot of S's in weather. One S should probably be Scrabble, a board game, because you're going to need something.
I thought you meant to say scramble, but Scrabble. Okay.
Well, scrambling to get your umbrella and Scrabble to play this weekend as temperatures start to drop off, and we have a couple of changes to talk about. These changes are in 3 stages. So let's get right to the theme of the weather report and talk about the 3 S's. So it's the triple S factor, not X-Files, S factor. Soggy on Thursday morning. We are saturated, which means we're going to see a lot of flooding. The second S I want to talk about during this whole weather report is severe. There is a chance of it as early as tomorrow afternoon. And then the third one is snow, the wraparound effect Friday into Saturday. So we have 3 stages, or almost 4 if you include 2 bouts of severe weather coming into our skies. Some of the temperatures from the weather watchers, all in the 50s. 54 degrees at St. Joe, 51 Chillicothe, Lone Jack 54 degrees, and, well, one exception because they have rain and clouds, and that's what's keeping them down to 47 degrees in Emporia. A huge complement of watches and warnings that are out. Livingston under a flood watch as well as a flood warning. That's why it's indicated in purple. Also down toward Cass County, even farther south toward Bates County, Vernon County, and even farther south. So it continues all across the area that you are going to see some pretty active weather, at least in terms of flooding conditions. Why? Well, over the last 2 days, we've got some areas over an inch of rainfall. That's not great on already saturated soil, and in some instances still kind of hard, so it doesn't really seep in and just kind of runs off. And so that's why we could find ourselves getting ponding on roads and some of the other things that are attributed with flash flood watches and warnings that are out. Here's clouds and radar over the last few hours. We're getting thicker clouds overhead right now, and there's the rain that's just now starting to appear on. It'll start off light. It will get heavier, but I think once it starts, it's going to be very slow to finish with round 1. Let's widen it out to give you a little more perspective. Here is the storm, and it's already doing a number on Oklahoma. They've already had torrential rains and the possibility of tornadoes. This thing's going to eject out. This will be our round 1 pre-dawn that Joel will be tracking tomorrow morning on First News. And also on KNBC.com, you can go to the live weather radar page and see this as well. Now, out here, this is the second wave that's just now organizing over the 4 corners. That's the kicker. That's the big storm, the big show, if you will, that'll move through. So here's the first round, 11 o'clock. This is Future Scan. As we start the animation, it fills in. A lot more yellow. That's heavier rain that will continue through the pre-dawn hours. Would not be surprised if you hear some loud claps of thunder during the pre-dawn. We're not anticipating damaging wind or damaging hail, so I don't think severe weather overnight. Then the low, the main show, moves through for the morning commute through mid-morning. And depending on how much sunshine we get between those 2 rounds, we could see another 3rd round of heavy active weather during the afternoon hours. But I think that the better chances for severe weather, for large hail, damaging winds, and possibly tornadoes will be just east of Kansas City. But 50 miles, if it changes, could make all the difference in the world. So keep it right here on Channel 9. Morning temperatures in the 40s to near 50 degrees. 7-day outlook has all S's and all changes. Close to 70 tomorrow, 44 on Friday, snow on Saturday morning. And then the pendulum swings back the other direction, getting close to the 70s early next week. 72 the high a week from tonight. So flooding concerns overnight will be the big story, and then we have to worry about the severe weather tomorrow.
Soggy, severe snow, and get your Scrabble game.
There you go. 4 S's now.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Up next in sports, the Royals looking to make it 2 in a row. Very, very impressive.
It was fun. It really was.
Appreciate it. Turning to weather, we have an impressive storm system that's just going to be impressive enough to give us a chance of snow come tomorrow morning. We're not anticipating many more flakes falling down now. It is accumulating up toward the north. Minnesota and the Dakotas really getting some snow that's going to stick. We will start, though, with our air quality. The skycast for today is going to be green. It's going to be green tomorrow, too. But the oak pollen making a run. Moderate, 54. And ascospores mold, I'm surprised. The number looks impressive, but it's still called low at 1329. Of course, with all the rain we had, you'd expect it to be just a little bit higher. Speaking of high, though, our winds are out of the west at 16 with a gust of 32 miles an hour. Bobby Ward in Carrollton already down to 33 degrees, at least according to his thermometer, 40 in Kirksville, 45 in Emporia. But any way you look at it, it's going to feel like the teens. In some instances up north, we're going to be into the 20s for your wind chill. We were talking about the triple S factor over the last couple of days. Soggy flooding still on our weather map. All of these counties in purple still under flood warnings, but look at when the expiration time is. Saturday, sometime like noon tomorrow, as all the stuff still has to flow downstream. It's going to take it a while. The second S was the severe that we were talking about. And a couple of nights ago, I was thinking that it would be more wind than anything else. And looking at some of the reports, it looks like the blue dots outnumber everything else. Those are the wind reports. And as you notice, as you go farther to the southwest, the time is going to go back. So at a little before 7 o'clock is when it hit Burlington. And then because the storms move from that direction up to the north, the times get later. Like 7:17 for Ottawa, Kansas with wind damage. You get up close to Baser about a little before 8 o'clock. And, of course, there was that tornado close to St. Joseph, as it was reported. As I put everything back together, the green dots represent hail that was reported, too. And there were a few other tornadoes reported and sighted very close to the Quad Cities, the extreme southeastern sliver of Iowa. Now let's talk about the third S factor, the snow that's still going to be on schedule for late Friday night into Saturday because of this low with the counterclockwise circulation bringing down the blustery conditions. And as I said, the accumulating snows I think will stay to the north. But as you see here on Future Scan, a couple of spokes will be moving on through during the pre-dawn on Saturday and the first portion of Saturday as well. So your 7-day forecast is going to keep it cool with a high temperature of only 45 degrees tomorrow, 29 and 50 on Sunday, 59 on Monday, a slow gradual warm-up, 64 as you head into Tuesday, 70s though, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So a next week spring payoff. Right now though, with our City View camera, we have clear skies for a change. Not many clouds to speak of there giving us the snow yet, but we'll call it partly cloudy. 42, west winds at 24 with a gust of 31 miles an hour. A wind chill in April. Feels like 32.
Be ready for anything.
Just about here in KC.
That's right. All right, Brian, thank you. Well, how about this? A photo posted on the White House website is creating